Hello, welcome to the TrainerWise Daily Show. On today's episode, we're asking a very simple question. Is it at all important to have fun during your workout?
Show me a good time. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Show me a good time. Oh yeah.
Hey, this is a call out to all strength coaches and trainers out there. If you would like to share your views on a given topic, just go to trainerwise.com. Fill out the contact form. Tell us the topic that's of interest to you, and we'll get you on as soon as possible. We're filling up shows at the moment, currently taking guest speakers. So please do take the time now to contact us there, and we'll get you on. Our guests today are Joe Stankowski and Miss Jen Pilotti. People, welcome.
Always a pleasure to be here.
All right, super cool. Let me throw it at you, Mr. Joe. Is it even important to have fun while you're training, or should you just feel like you were beaten over the head when you're done and that there was some value to that?
Well, my answer to most things is it depends. If you're what I would call a level one, somebody who does not yet have the fitness habit, who doesn't necessarily continue exercising regularly, fun is the important part. If you've got the habit and you're not making the progress you think you should for the time that you put into it, then I'd say let's not worry so much about fun with the actual workout itself. Maybe make some other part of the process fun, but the workout itself, it might be miserable. But if it delivers the kind of results that you want, then we could throw fun out the window for that level of trainee.
Gotcha. So that's a very interesting point. And is the reason that you say you think it should be fun if you're a beginner is because they'll come back?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to like it enough to come back to want to do it again. And if we're trying to establish the habit, and this isn't for a beginner necessarily, it's for what I call level one. Level ones often have a lot of experience trying everything. They're like yo-yo dieters, try every single diet. There's yo-yo exercisers have tried everything, but they haven't had enough fun, to use that F word right there, to keep them coming back to any one of those programs. So if fun is what it takes to get you to come back, then fun is what we need.
So Jen, what he pretty much said is he thinks we should bamboozle those who aren't committed to keep them coming to what's important. Out of the people you train, do you make it fun for them? Is it important that they have a good time?
It depends on the personality. Some people are there because they want to have fun. Others, they want an intense workout that's really focused, and that's what I give them. It just kind of depends on who it is.
Yeah, it almost seems like the definition of fun varies. Like I knew a girl who said, I kind of like to feel like I'm out of breath, and all the other women in my class like, what? I'm like, hold on, and I pull out my weight vest. I'm like, here, you wear this. Let me cinch it down real tight on the Merry Christmas. And so it seems that what people's definitions of fun, their definitions vary quite a bit. And some people like the pain. I mean, that's the fun after the workout that they derive from knowing, I destroyed myself. You said it depends on the person, Joe. Does it depend on the goal at all? I mean, like if the goal is for the person, let's say maintenance, then would that qualify as, all right, well, let's have a good time?
Measurement eliminates argument is my simple answer to that one. It's like, I don't know until we know the individual. It's like if we're making progress or maintaining the progress that we have, and that's what we're happy with, if you have a way to measure that and quantify what have we actually accomplished, fun could be part of it or not. It really just depends. This is one of those big it depends kind of questions.
Yeah, so I'm gonna throw it over to Jen, and she said one more damn time. I'm just gonna game interview over. Question, Jen, let me just go to the next one since it all depends. What is the difference? Like, let's say kids. Important to have fun, because I tell you right now, 95% of I know my daughter in gymnastics is like work, and I don't know that it's fun. In fact, I'll tell this little story. Once when she was going to do her first level 4 competition, there was another girl who had just begun, and my daughter was joining with their team, and she was saying, well, she had just completed an event, the other girl, and so I went to that other girl, her name Kristen, and I tried to get my daughter a little excited. I said, hey, Kristen, so how fun was that event? And she looks at me, she goes, oh, well, I really wouldn't call that fun. And I was just like, oh, great, thank you. I'm trying to get my daughter excited, and she's talking about the work, the fear, all that. Kids, to the point, is it more about fun for them or about accomplishing something?
Again, it kind of depends on the kid. I've worked with competitive tennis players, and for them, they want the work because they want to be the best junior tennis player they can be.
Competitive.
I've also worked with 15-year-olds that aren't motivated to do anything. So it's really important to make the workout enjoyable, to make them laugh a little bit,
Okay. So I guess what you guys are saying, and tell me if this is wrong, if we had to simplify and say anything outside of it depends, we would say that it's a tool that you could use where appropriate with the right client, Joe? Is that it or not?
If you want to summarize my "it depends" into that, sure, absolutely, you can use that. The whole thing with "it depends." When I was a kid, I remember I was watching Sesame Street, right? And, like the number of the day must have been 3 or something. And so for some reason, I had this in my head. I asked my dad. I said, "Is 3 seconds a long time?" You know, when you're like a 3, 4-year-old kid, it's one of these questions that makes sense. And he tells me, "Well, it depends." I was like, "Well, what do you mean it depends?" So he stands behind me. He grabs me by my ears and like lifts me straight up in the air. I'm like up, like, 3 inches off the ground, 6 inches off the ground, like that. And he goes 1, 2, 3. And of course, this whole time I'm kicking and screaming and all this stuff. And it's like, is 3 seconds a long time? It depends. Does fitness need to be fun? It depends. That's I guess my theory of relativity right there.
There you go.
A big lesson I had when I was a kid. But yeah, and it's really individualized. It's what needs to be done. Is fun really an essential component of it? There's just an add-on. And how do you define fun? I mean, I don't have an answer until I know the individual.
Okay, so let me ask a little bit more focused question. At times, Jim Pilotti, is it important? Is it okay to compromise results for the sake of enjoyment? I mean, if the like, I don't know, if the person's having a bad day, and that happens. They come in and is it important to have an enjoy? I mean, they're spending money, they're spending time, they're expecting a result. What are your thoughts?
I do think that mood and energy does play a big part in it.
Hold on, can I laugh for a second? Your video is getting a little glitchy. Can you see that, Joe?
I missed it on that one.
No, okay, no. Your video is going like so you kind of look like here. Those cartoon heads that they put on and they kind of like move the head independent of the body.
Right.
So if you look kind of funny on the video, I think it cleared up now. So I'll let you speak without being laughed at. Go ahead.
I think if someone walks in and is in a bad mood or is having a rough day, it is important to kind of bring them out of their funk a little bit. I find often exercising, but then also chatting with them, giving them whatever they need. That's it's back to the "it depends" thing.
No, I know. So, but that's important. You're saying giving them what they need, and at times maybe not doing. If you're planning to do a max test day, let's say if the person's trying to get really strong, that you can modify depending on what they need.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
See, I'd stick to the plan. I would challenge it. I'd say if I have a plan, stick to the plan. And let the results speak for what was happening in their life, in their reality. I mean, so you have a crappy day. Everybody has crappy days. Life goes on. If there's a training,
that's my man.
You got to stick with the plan. If you want fun, go to Disney.
Oh, there we go. So it's how you deliver it, right? Like, you know what's funny is I used to see this one trainer. Her name's Nicole. Maybe I'll have her on. What's her last name? And I used to call her a tyrant. She would just be dropping the hammer on these people. And I'm just thinking, that girl's mean. Now, if you saw me with the client I was just training before I came here, you'd be like, that guy's a jerk. And I'm so not a jerk. But with this lady, I don't cut her much slack because she's willing to work hard when I push. And at times I feel like if I'm too coddling, I'm like, every day's a bad day. I'm like, something
right,
like,
no, right.
When are you going to come in here and say, I'm having a good day? That's what I always give her crap about.
There's like the Biggest Loser type trainer. I won't pick on any specific trainers off of that show, but there's some, I think the directors say, hey, make these people cry. Tell them they're fat. Tell them they're worthless. Tell them that they're horrible people. Make them cry because it's good TV. And I don't think any of us need to do that. No matter what our clients' goals are, I don't think we need to do that. We don't need to make it the opposite way though. And the fun things, hey, everything's all roses and gravy and sprinkles. I don't know where I came up with that one. But it's. If a game plan, and as trainers, as coaches, we should have a plan, not just for the day, but for a month, for several months, for a year at a time. And if the plan calls for work, I don't care if you're happy, sad, or otherwise. We have a plan. We have to stick to it as much as we possibly can.
I think when you deliver it like that,
it's done.
What's that? I think when you deliver it like that, like say, like I could hear your tone, I could hear your reasoning. You have a reason for what you're saying. You're not just being like, "Hey, suck it up, dude." But you are kind of saying, hey, this is the plan. We're going to stick to it. This is my reason for why we are going to work in spite of you not feeling like you want to work. I think that idea of being able to relay that information, I actually think that's what makes a trainer talented. The most important thing, I think me and Charlie Weingroff agreed, was caring. But to be a talented trainer, you have to be able to communicate to those times where you have to like play both sides. It's the good parent, bad parent, same. You have multiple skill sets. I mean, Jen, do you have to poke and prod some of your people? Is that effective for you when they come in and they're kind of whiny and they kind of like, can we not do that? Do you just kind of like,
I've never had a client tell me no. So Because what I generally do is, again, I kind of read their mood,
Mm.
ease them into stuff, and it gets harder as it goes on. You build, and by the time you get to the hard stuff, hopefully they're kind of out of wherever they were, and they're just kind of going.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's the case as well. Gang, you pretty much nailed it. We're probably beating the dead horse if I ask any more questions. Jen, if people want to get a hold of you and hear more of what's going on in your world, where should they reach you?
I'm at www.bewellpt.com.
Okay, and Joe, a lot of people have seen you, but for those who have not, where can they find your work?
Well, I'm gonna throw a little curveball from what we normally talk about here. It's a different website, and this for people who are what I consider level ones and do not have the habits. I created a program called "This Workout Doesn't Suck," and the tagline for it is "Fitness for people who hate exercise."
Yeah.
So it's not about necessarily being what I would consider the most effective program, but it's about having fun and establishing a habit. So for that, they can just go to thisworkout.com. It's a local group for Grand Rapids, but it's really kind of a global group as well as far as the online stuff that's available to do, the forums, and really just kind of support for each other.
Do you,
So
is it required within that workout that doesn't suck to do like the Macarena or something like that?
There are people that love doing Zumba and stuff like that. I mean, you will not catch me doing that. I'm going to deadlift. I'm going to throw heavy stuff around my yard. I mean, I'm going to do stuff like that. I will not do the Macarena. You couldn't pay me enough to do that, right? But if that's what people enjoy, there are other people in the group that enjoy that too, and they will support you doing that. And really, our first goal for that is to establish a baseline of regular activity per week. And I don't care. I mean, if you want to do, the worst infomercial gadget ever, well, it's not in the book that I would write. If it helps you establish a habit, and if you consider it, fun, finger quotes for those who maybe are just listening to this and not watching, fine. Let's establish a habit, and let's establish baseline and figure out. But it's thisworkout.com.
Yeah, I gotta say though, the shake weight, like it doesn't even have weight in it. If you've ever used it, and I don't know, say I used it, I just picked it up. It was at my client's house, and
You can admit it. It's all right.
Gift, and I'm kidding, but yeah, it didn't have weight. So I hear you. Established. I think that's cool. So it's called thisworkout.com.
Thisworkout.com, and the group is This Workout Doesn't Suck. I mean, that's the program. It's the idea of like establishing the habit.
All right, super cool. Gang, thanks for coming on, and thank you everybody for watching.
You got it. Talk to you again soon.
Show me a good time. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Show me a good, show me a good, show me a good time.